Hello, beautifuls, and welcome to the Beautifully Well Conversations with your girl, Coach Nick, your National Board Certified Health and Wellness Coach, taking you on a beautifully well journey. Today's conversation, this is a good one. This is a good one. You are familiar with the term reframe. Reframe is to reframe is to simply change the frame in which you see your situation. It's that simple, right? Right now, we have a natural tendency to think about the negative or what we can't do. But in our conversation today, the focus is going to be flipping the negative to the positive. And we're going to do this with the simple phrase and a time tested tip that you can use to overcome this obvious thorn in our flesh, so to speak. And that is the fact that we are unable to add more than 24 hours in a day. There's no such thing as an 8-day week, right? We literally have enough time to get the things that we need to do, including some of the things that we want to do. But let's be real, we're already maxed out, right? You already feel like you're at your capacity mentally, physically. Where's your energy? And the thought with your super busy schedule, because you are working your day job, taking care of family, maybe you're a caregiver to mom and dad, and you're to the max already. You have not dismissed how important your health is. You know about self-care. You say you do it, right? Because you don't miss a hair appointment, that nail appointment time, that's your me time, and that's all good. This is a no judgment zone. But in this conversation, the phrase that we're reframing is, I don't have enough time. I can't do that. I don't have enough time. It's just not possible right now. I have a lot on my plate. And you're not lying, sis. You have a lot on your plate. What's interesting about that plate, though, is somewhere along it, it's missing a key part. You and I know what that key part is. It's you and that time that you need to step away and revamp. Because right now, with the weight of all your responsibilities, including family, friends, work, you name it, you're like that car that you drive into the driveway, park it, the key is still in the ignition, you get out, you never turn it off. It's still running, waiting for you to get in it the next day and run it, run it, run it, run it, run it again. That's the day-to-day. So I get it because I've been there and sometimes I'm there. So in our conversation on the reframe, I don't have enough time to, you fill in the blank. The two, for the purpose of this discussion, should be centered around something you feel would be helpful in your health journey. Is it that you feel you don't have enough time to exercise a few days a week? Do you feel that it's nearly impossible to think about meal planning because to have the time to think about what you're going to eat, the family doesn't eat, he doesn't eat it, or the kids won't eat it, or mom won't eat that it's an extra weight on you. And so it's just easier to continue pushing to do the best that you can without a real strategy to eventually put yourself on that list with those goals that you know will elevate your health and take you to a whole nother level. So instead of, I don't have enough time to, by the time we finish with this tip that we're going to do together, so grab your pen and paper, you can use your smartphone, whatever you want to use to jot this down. This is going to be personal. And I'll promise you, if you use this time-tested tip, that you'll be able to find a way to make room for yourself and being able to make room for yourself guilt-free because you deserve it. And if you're struggling to unplug and you realize you're already at a max, well, we already know what happens next. Instead of you deciding to voluntarily take a break because you need a break, that beautiful body will tell you it's time and you will have no choice. And you know what that feels like. So let's dive in to reframe that phrase and use a time management technique. Now, you'll have to dive deep into this. And maybe, well, what I hope is that you'll listen to this episode more than once, because maybe now you're just listening while you take care of something else and you'll decide to hop back in and listen to it again later so that you can use this tool to help you reevaluate this idea of what you're willing to make time for. Because the reality says we definitely have time to do the things that we feel we really want to do. Another reframe in your journey to better health is to have fun with it, not make it feel like this is this list of things. If I don't get 3 days of exercise and I'm doomed. Or if I can't figure out how to get this carb count just right, I'll never get this A1C right. I'll continue to have these glucose issues. Or if I don't stop eating that box pizza and this spike in my sodium, oh my gosh, I just won't be able to get this pressure under control. Well, sis, the reality is you have the time. You have the tools and you have the ability to do whatever it is you desire is necessary for you. And I'm going to prove it in this exercise. So I hope you're ready. All you need is a pen, pencil, piece of paper, or whatever you use to take notes. And we're going to look at what first feels like the obvious, right? There are 168 hours in a week. Okay, Nick, tell me something I don't know. But keep an open mind with this. You'll start with the 168 hours at the top of the page because these are the hours that you have in a week. If you are a full-time worker, you're working 40 hours a week. Now, some of you may work a little more than that. For the sake of this exercise, follow along with me, watch this, or listen to this pattern. We're going to say 50 hours a week, assuming that you may have to commute. So we're giving you an extra 2 hours, 5 days a week. We're rounding it up to 50. If you are working from home and you manage to stay on that clock for 40 hours, then you've saved yourself 10 hours. But for the sake of this example, 50 hours is the time allotted for work, assuming there's a commute. And you're going to love this one. Because would you say you're getting between 7 to 8 hours of sleep every single night? You are sleeping like a newborn baby. Well, if you are, that's great. That's awesome. You know, I'm getting my 7 to 8 hours. I'm trying to really, really hard. And then this exercise, I'm going to give you 7 hours of sleep, 7 days a week, 49 hours. I'm not even rounding up. I'm just going to make that 49 hours of sleep. If you're getting 8, awesome. If you're getting less than 7, well, as we do this exercise, you're in a self-awareness zone right about now. So maybe you'll uncover another goal that should be on that list of things that you can work towards. I put 10 hours for some time throughout the week, some time throughout the day for some household stuff, a little bit of grocery shopping, cleaning up around the house a bit. You could even include cooking in that, assuming 2 hours a day, 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. And then the weekend comes, right? You got Saturday, Sunday, you're probably out and about enjoying life with family and friends. If you're a spiritual person, then you're taking some time for some spiritual activities. So I put 15 hours, 15 hours, give or take. And I added an extra 10 hours for some extras. You could be that caregiver that has to do a little extra running. Are you the mom with the children who are in every single activity you can imagine? Are you sharing in another activity that requires even more of your time? So when you add all of that up between work, activities, household chores, getting those 7 hours of sleep, you're spending 134 hours a week. So let's get a drum roll. How many hours are left after you've done all of your basics and maybe a few extras? You are a part-time job. Yes, you. 34 hours are left in that week. It might not feel like it. It might not seem like it. For you, maybe you have to subtract another 10 hours. That still leaves 24 hours. That's a lot of room to work with. For the sake of our example, we're rolling at the leftover 34 hours for the week. We're going to look at it as if it is a part-time job that you're working. And let's just say 5 days a week so we can break this down to about 6 hours a day, a little over 6 hours a day. What are you doing with that time? Those 6 hours. If we stretched it out to 7, you're still looking at 4 hours a day, a little over 4 hours. Right now, take a moment and ask yourself, if every day I had 4 hours of limbo time, what would I do with it? If you could see these 4 hours every single day, what would you do? And 4 hours is a lot of time. So I'm not saying you're spending 4 hours straight deciding to do something, but perhaps you break these 4 hours up into some segments. Let's say the beginning of your day, you take an hour for yourself. There's still 3 hours in limbo somewhere. So let's make it even more realistic and say you decide out of these 4 because you feel like some of those hours are imaginary because you just don't see them with the weight of the responsibilities on your shoulder. So let's drop that down to you having an hour a day, 7 days a week. What would you do with that hour? So now, with my coach hat on, we're going to take that hour and we're going to have fun thinking about a realistic goal set. And although this strategy will help with whatever you decide to work on, getting more sleep, reducing your stress, taking care of your anxiety, eating better, exercising more, any goal will work. But for the sake of this conversation, let's say you are just struggling to get exercise in consistently. Let's break this down because, right, we want to accomplish something by the end of this conversation. You've already done a lot. You are fully aware of how much time you potentially have left and how you could divide that time up throughout the day for a 7-day work week period, a 7-day period to give you some time to focus intentionally on yourself. Let's set this fitness goals, ladies, because we know some bodies are made in the winter. So you have this 1 hour. When does this hour work for you? And are you exercising for an hour? You could. Are you good with a 30-minute routine a couple days a week? Or maybe you're just in a place where if you could get a good 15-minute workout in, it will soothe your soul. Well, sis, go for what you know. The whole point of identifying this 1 hour every single day is that with intention, you decide what you want to do with it. With this 1 hour, with the focus on exercise, a hypothetical scenario would be, all right, I have this 1 hour, I'll make it happen. Maybe I'll do 15 minutes of some cardio. Maybe I'll throw in a Zumba, YouTube. I'll tune in to Coach Nick's Chair Fit. And I'll take some time to just meditate, roll my shoulders, sip my water, right? It's this hour. I can choose to do whatever I want with it. So here we go. If I chose to use that 1 hour 5 days a week, my work week is stressful. I want to work with this hour at the beginning of every day because it's going to set the tone for me. In this scenario, I am getting ready for work around 7 a.m., but I'm an early riser, not a morning person, but an early riser. I appreciate the benefits of getting up just a bit early. So I decide to start my morning at 6 a.m. At 6 a.m. on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'll start a 30-minute exercise routine. I'll take my time winding down and then enjoy my shower and get ready for work. Tuesday and Thursday, with my hour, I'll get up, take my shower first, before putting on those work clothes, put on some relaxing music, shoulder roll, meditate, maybe read my Bible. It's an hour to myself. And now my mind is ready to embrace the day. In that scenario, I've identified the days I'm good with physical activity. And I've identified maybe my two most challenging days of the week where I'll opt out of exercise because I'm getting it in 3 other days. And I just want to be able to get up because maybe Monday evening, Mondays at work makes it a little difficult. Monday night. So when I get up Tuesday, that's my meditation morning. The bottom line is this. When we are no longer allowing our minds to tell us what we can't do, won't do, don't have time to do, although those things are important to do, then now we are excited and we're making time to do those things that will only elevate the health journey and keep us here longer to run around to do the things that we need to for these people in our lives that we love. So let's recap. This conversation was all about reframing. It is a natural tendency for us to look at the negative. And as that woman, that warrior, that Wonder Woman with the weight of responsibilities from forehead to toe, it's so easy to put yourself at the bottom of the list of things to do. And that hair appointment and nail appointment does not count for self-care. Yes, they're important, but it doesn't count. So as you reframe your time, not only do we know that reframing is to take the can't, the won't, the don't out and focus on what we can do. So instead of, I don't have time to exercise in the morning, the thought becomes, my mornings are a bit hectic, especially on Mondays. It's a little bit of a struggle, but I don't have to turn on that computer for work until 8:30, and I'm typically up about 7. So while I may have a few things I need to take care of between, I don't know, 7 and 8, I still have a really nice window. I can use a half an hour to decide to work out. Yeah, I do have time. I can make a half an hour work for me today. Now we're looking at things from a positive perspective. You've reframed. And we also used our weekly time tip. Look at your week. You know what's happening in your life throughout that week. Can you analyze it, honey? Because that time bank is just like a money bank. You balance that checkbook. We balance our time bank. And when you look at the reality of it is, once you assess that you do have more than enough time for yourself, and especially how important it is to care for yourself so you can continue to care for others, life changes, life elevates, and life feels more happy and fulfilled and a lot less stressed when we are able to organize and balance out those resets that we need, or most importantly, just the time we need to put and turn that attention to our health. So continue to reframe, continue to work on those 168 hours in a week because we're not getting any more than that. Continue to work on those 24 hours in a day and make those hours count. And although we talked about exercise, remember, we're not saying 1 hour is the rule, 30 minutes is the rule. You get 10 minutes done and get those endorphins released. Well, hey, that's a win. So, in this beautifully well conversation with your girl, Coach Nick, as we wrap up, as always, stay beautiful, ladies. Keep pushing and stay tuned for the next episode. Thank you for tuning in.